Alright, what is going on, my dudes? Today is a very special day because the 250th champion is being added to MCOC. That's Lady Deathstrike. So, this video is sponsored by Grookey. We're gonna jump right into it now. Alright, Lady Deathstrike, the newest tech champion, added in 2023. Now, I say that like that because we've had quite a few so far. But Lady Deathstrike is going to be released as a 7-star, so it's technically the first 2023 tech 7-star we've gotten. So, anyway, let's start jumping into her abilities. We're going to break it down, everything you need to know, yada yada yada, like we always do. Now, bleeds and poisons are reduced by 90% on her. Here's the thing. She still gets the willpower mastery. It's reduced by 50%, so it's not like Diablo level, but it's like kinda up there, man. Especially if you run Coagulate, that's essentially 120% reduction on the bleed, so you take no damage from that, and then the poison is just constantly healing you throughout the fight, which is great, right? Yeah, so if you run Suicides, you're definitely going to enjoy Lady Deathstrike. Against mutants, she can't have her ability extra reduced, so Domino, Magneto, right? Could be a great option for those. All of her nail attacks inflict a rupture debuff. Essentially, that is her medium, both mediums. I believe her heavy attack does that as well, but there's no need to ever use her heavy attack. And then her first 3 light attacks, okay? Now, what these do is they inflict a guaranteed rupture debuff, dealing 75% of Lady Deathstrike's armor rating as physical damage over 6 seconds. Now, interesting here. She is super duper suicide friendly, but her damage doesn't necessarily skyrocket with it because her armor rating is where all of her damage really comes from, which is from the rupture. So very interesting kit there. I like it. Now, her main thing is called ferocity. Whenever she inflicts a rupture, right, or when she's struck, she gains a ferocity charge plus 1 more per armor up buff. Alright, at 75 charges, you gain a ferocity passive for 3 seconds, alright, and this starts paused. Now, it unpauses whenever you block, so once you activate that, you don't really want to block, and we'll get more into that later when we talk about the special attacks, alright? While this is active, you gain increased attack, your special attacks are unblockable, alright, and of course, you can't gain new charges, but you don't need any more of them. Now, when the opponent activates a special attack, special 1 or special 2, you have a 25% chance per armor up effect, buff or passive, to gain an unstoppable passive for the duration of the special, and you reduce their offensive ability accuracy of that attack by 15% per armor up, anyone again, passive or buff, up to 75%. Alright? Now, she has a machine body, right? So she starts with an indefinite armor up buff. Now, every 25 hits in your combo meter, you gain a passive. Now, it's important to remember that your rupture damage, that gets increased based on your armor rating. It's all based off of that, 75% of the armor rating, okay? So, you want to kind of build up those armors, right? That's kind of the move with her. Now, Lady Deathstrike's regen rate cannot be modified. That means by like despair, stuff like that, you can't mess with her regen rate, alright? True damage hits remove 1 regeneration effect that she has though, and we'll get to the regen in just a moment. Now, also, all heal block effects on Lady Deathstrike are immediately removed, but her willpower mastery is also removed for the original duration of the heal block. So that's interesting. It's kind of like, you know, I wouldn't really want to use her against Penny Parker, but just an example, you know, how like when she heal blocks you and then like when you would heal from it, you get like the instant incinerates, right? So that won't happen. However, you also can't heal, right? So it's like the willpower doesn't work, but at the same time, you don't get like those additional effects by certain champions. And who knows, there might be a lot of things I'm just like blanking on right now where that could be useful, but I'm sure in the future that's going to be like something where it's like, oh wow, Lady Deathstrike is busted for that. So, Nanobot's Regenerator. This is a really cool thing that she has. When struck by a special 1 or special 2, she gains a passive for the duration of the special attack, passively regenerating 90% of hit damage taken over a half of a second. Now, again, with the suicide friendliness, while suffering from bleed or poison, nanobots regenerate an additional 20% flat. That's 110%. Now keep in mind, she doesn't benefit from the recovery mastery because she can't alter her regeneration rate. Poison doesn't affect it, right? Nothing affects it. Despair doesn't affect it. If you're suffering from bleed or poison, 110%. you gain a net positive there. Like that, I'll show it to you. I'll show it to you. But anyway, while Deathstrike doesn't have her personal armor buff, Nanobot's Regenerator is disabled, okay? So you need to have your personal armor up buff. While Nanobot's Regenerator is active, Lady Deathstrike becomes immune to Armor Break and Rupture debuff. So, you know, Armor Break's obviously, like, you know, Arcus kind of thing, right? But, like, if it's, like, a special attack that puts an Armor Break on you, well, you don't really, you're going to be immune to that, pretty much. Now, when you are intercepted by her, so even if you run into a special attack, keep in mind, the potency of the Nanobot Regenerator is reduced by 10% flat for 15 seconds, max of 5, and this refreshes every time it activates. So when you fight her, you want to intercept with her, right? Or use true damage effects. So yeah, it's pretty interesting, and I'll show it to you. Also, her second medium attack puts a heal block, okay? And it's not just a heal block, it's also a go F yourself Weapon X debuff, because mutants cannot gain unstoppable or unblockable effects while heal blocked, and this is great obviously for Weapon X. Also, it's great for Sauron, who has caught everybody with one of those unblockable special attacks from halfway across the map, right? But also any node where they go unblockable or unstoppable, right? For Footloose, for example, or for just like unblockable special 2 or whatever. If they're heal blocked, it won't happen. So it's definitely very solid against mutants there. Now, let's start with the special 2 first. The special 2, you gain 25 ferocity charges, but this is important. If you're in ferocity and you want to activate the special 2 while in ferocity, you regain and pause ferocity with its duration increased by 6 seconds, okay? So that means that you can block like 2 times without losing your ferocity. The special 1, on activation, inflicts a torment debuff for the duration of the special, causing all damaging debuffs to last 6 seconds longer, and all ruptures are paused during it, but if you activate it in ferocity, you gain increased attack rating, and torment lasts for an additional 8 seconds after the special 1 ends. Alright, now for the special 3, you gain a non-stacking Relentless passive, increasing attack rating bonuses from ferocity by 35%, and also allowing rupture to be inflicted through block for 30 seconds and is paused while ferocity is active. So basically, right, you kind of want to play her like not blocking anything, so this is always going to be paused if you're playing her properly. Now let's quickly talk about her SIG ability here. The number of hits in the combo meter, very simple, required to gain an armor up passive is reduced to 15, and max stacks is increased by 4. So less time to gain the armor, and the stack is increased. More armor rating, more rupture damage, right? So that's just SIG 1, and you got that. Also, ferocity also increases the potency of ruptures by 10% per armor up, right? So again, you can have a lot of different armor ups there. And this is a really interesting one against certain mutants like Toad and Wolverine. For every 2.5% of the opponent's max health prevented by heal block, inflict a rupture debuff dealing 100% of up to 100% of Lady Deathstrike's armor rating as physical damage over 3 seconds. So if you watch the deep dive, I believe I put a portion in there fighting Realm of Legends Wolverine where he like heals like crazy. Every 2.5% of Wolverine's health that heal blocked, right? You're just stacking on ruptures. And as you know, his health goes like that, right? So the amount of ruptures on him like shot up like crazy. So for really high healing matchups, pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. So that is Lady Deathstrike. It is how she works. She also has a really fantastic synergy down here for Anti-Venom. The special 2 refreshes the Evolve Mutation passive and has a 50% chance to not consume genetic memory debuffs when gaining Fury passives. Big boost to Anti-Venom. I think it should just be in his base kit, but it's really good for him. Also allows you to just strike the opponent's block and gain power after the special 3. And this one right here, these two are really good as well. Lady Deathstrike gains 33% armor potency, right? And that's where her whole damage comes from. Sentinel gains a heal block, right? A 66% heal block duration. And inflicting a heal block also inflicts a cowardice debuff, reducing special attack damage by 95% for the duration. That's very, very strong. That's like ridiculously strong. It might be too strong. Only time will tell. With Omega Sentinel, increase the light and heavy attack debuff pause duration by 2 seconds, which is just absolutely lovely. And then down here, there's some decent synergies as well for the Wolverines, actually. Wolverine and Weapon X, when any bleed debuff is purified, inflict a passive bleed with 70% of the damage and the same duration. Old Man Logan, personal Fury buffs last longer. Cool. And Lady Deathstrike, when defeating X-Men, you gain a Crossfight Fury buff, increasing attack rating by 20%, and the Fury buff potency increases by 200% when defeating any Wolverine. Now that's great, it's all well and good, but at the end of the day, right, her damage comes from her armor, as we've discussed. But yeah, let's start jumping in, man. Let's start jumping in today. Up first, we'll go for our little Deadpool here, all right? 6-star rank 4, no suicide, just to go over the rotation. So what you want to do with her is essentially do your 7-hit combos, right? If you're going to be heal blocking, like let's say you're doing Battlegrounds, right? Willpower is active. You want to keep that heal block up with the second medium attack, right? So if they don't heal from willpower, you just don't need that. You don't need that to happen, right? So what we're going to be doing here is building up our ferocity charges. Those are the green ones, right? And then once you get to 75, you're going to enter ferocity, and now you're going to go for the special 2 and extend the duration, right? Bam! Check it out. Now Deadpool is pretty much dead here, right? Here comes those nanobots regenerator. Just ate the special 1. And what we're doing from here, right, is you want to spam the special 1. Now, if this was like 190,000-ish health, I feel like the special 1 would have killed him off there, right? But we're going to go to our little test map here against the Cyclops. We're going to put the suicides on now, and now we're going to be a little bit more chaotic with our fighting, okay? Because, like I said, the bleed and the poison increases the potency of the nanobots by 20% flat. So you can be a little crazy with it. You don't want to get too overboard with this, right? Because you can definitely get intercepted and lose the potency, but like watch this kind of thing. Up to 100%. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's pretty good. Now, there is a caveat there, and that is the fact that you lose your combo, right? So while we're at a full yellow bar, you lose your combo, so we're not doing as much rupture damage as we could do, right? Because again, we lose our combo, and we're just not doing as much damage as we'd want to do, right? But you go special 2, then you start chaining your special 1s, and as you can see, right, the Torment's going to make this last even longer. Just eat the special 1. Like I said, we're just kind of being chaotic here. Go for a little block break intercept, right? And yeah, we'll go for the 7-star now. 7-star rank 1 against 600,000 health. Cyclops, okay? So we're missing out on the extra damage from the sick ability, right? The extra less amount of hits, right? To get to the armor up passive, right? But yeah, the thing with the regenerator, right? It's great and fun to show in like video format, right? So obviously I want you to see what it looks like and how it works. But in reality, it's the type of thing where, in my opinion, like you shouldn't trigger it on purpose unless you like kind of really need to, right? Like right here, for example, right? I dashed back, I got hit, and it was great. And I'm back up to 100%. Like that's, to me, what's so great about the regenerator passive. It's like, I recommend, you can also like get really aggressive like that too. But I recommend like playing her kind of like a normal champ. These 2 fights against Cyclops, I'm being a little bit more risky in, as you can see, and it's kind of working out just fine because you can do that. But if you get intercepted, the potency is going to be reduced by 10%, which would still be at like 100% for her because she has the poison, right? That kind of thing. But yeah, as you can see, 600,000 health Cyclops. We're not even playing super duper efficiently. If we wanted to do that, right, we would have not lost our combo at all. We would have not purposefully eaten the special 2, showing off the unblockable special 1 though, right? So there's a reason for all of it, of course. But yeah, if I built up more armor passives, we'd be doing more damage, right? But as you can see, 600,000 health, it's been about 90 seconds. Really not too bad at all. And we don't even have healing to take advantage of. 1 more just for the road with the unstoppable. We ate 4 to 5 special attacks in this fight, and we finished at 97%, doing like 6 or 7 of our special attacks with the recoil and everything, right? So yeah, it's interesting stuff, right? Let's take a look at how she does against some mutants, right? Because she's tech champion. You got to compete against the mutant class. So we got Domino. We got Domino here. Now, Domino is interesting because she even if you're like immune to ability accuracy reduction, she can still mess you up if like you have a chance to activate something and you don't activate it. Let's say she had like a 75% chance to activate something, right? I guess she does the unstoppable on her specials, right? Yeah. But anyway, point being though, right? Great Domino counter. That's the thing. That's the thing. And if she takes some crit fail damage, so does everyone else, man. Domino's stupid. But also, this is an interesting one. Now, I don't know if this is a bug. No, it wouldn't be a bug. It wouldn't be a bug because I figured it out. Okay, so she can't have her regeneration modified at all. So Magneto, like, reverses it by like 105%, I believe. So she can heal against Magneto with the nanobots and everything, and from the bleed, from the willpower and everything. Yeah. So, and she doesn't get magnetized or anything like that, which is cool. So Toad is a great matchup for her because he heals so much. This is, of course, just a duel, so he dies very fast, but this is like one of those examples where, like, you know, you get the poison on you naturally from him, and you block so much of his healing that you gain your ferocity charges naturally, right? And also the special too is so fun to regenerate from. Yeah, it's just really, really great matchup against Toad here, man. And, you know, speaking of Toad, Toad came out with Sauron, and Sauron also heals quite a bit, and he also goes unblockable. So guess what? With that second medium attack with the heal block, we're going to kind of shut all that stupid BS off. This guy does. She is a fantastic Sauron counter. So is Shocker, by the way. So, yeah. And so is Viv also. Pretty much all the tech champs this year, just like nuking Sauron out of orbit. And then Weapon X. Weapon X. You know what? I have a better Weapon X fight to show you in just a moment. However, let me show you how it works. She pretty much was designed to destroy Weapon X, right? Lady Deathstrike in the comics and everything, she hates Wolverine. She hates Wolverine so much. So let's take a look here. This is the Weapon X fight in Act 7, right? Biggest Wolverine Weapon X in the game. It does have, keep in mind, very interesting, it does have plus 40% bleed potency. Now, she reduces bleed by 90%, and I run Coagulate 3 out of 3, so that means that's 120% reduction, right? With plus 40% bleed, right, ability, whatever the heck is that the node is, we're going to be taking 20% of the bleed damage here, which is just something that's, like, interesting when it comes to MCOC math, all that fun stuff, right? But anyway, this is the rotation, right? You want to build up to the special too. Look, oh my goodness gracious, right? Did you see that health swing? It went to like 10% health, 20, 30% health, all the way back up to 100%. And then, like I was saying, that extra 20% bleed potency ticked us down a little bit, right? But yeah, man, that is just some spicy stuff, dude. And of course, this is one where I'm like actually playing properly. And as you can see, when you play properly, you do a lot more damage and you stack on more ruptures, and you're not, you know, stopping your combo, getting hit in the face, all that fun stuff. But yeah, that is Lady Deathstrike, man. Once again, sponsored by Grookey. Yeah, just a fun, interesting champ, man. The nanobot regenerator is super duper interesting. I like how she's crazy suicide friendly, but at the same time, she doesn't get like a stupid attack boost from it because it's based on like her armor rating. So she's not like one of those champs, for example, where like if you don't play her with suicides, like you're really missing out. So that's kind of cool. But you also get a really big boost if you do, just in sustainability essentially, which is nice. And of course, you know, the basic hits and the critical hits and everything, that's increased damage from the suicide masteries. But yeah, the ruptures are where it's at the end of the day. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, drop your boy a big ol' like. Let me know what you think about Grookey and Lady Deathstrike in the comment section below. And make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss next month's champs coming to you in a few weeks, man. I'll be seeing you around. Happy 250, Lady Deathstrike. Happy 250.